Hi, I'm Brenda Quintana from QBsQuest.com. I'm thrilled to be a guest designer on Splitcoaststampers. Today I'm going to show you how to make this interlocking heart gatefold card. And the card just basically has this interlocking element. You just open the card like this. The front two hearts interlock, and then when the card opens up, it reveals the little panels on the inside. And then when you're closing the card back up, all you do is just lock these hearts back into place, and it kind of holds the card together. Here's a slightly simpler version of the same card. So let's get started. I have my simply scored scoring board here, and to make the card base you're going to need a piece of cardstock that is 8.5 inches by 4.25 inches, and I'm going to put the long side up at the top of my scoring board, and I'm going to score at the 2 1/8 inch mark and the 6 3/8 inch mark. Then I'm going to use my bone folder to crease the folds. So just bring it in and just make sure they go nice and flat. And I'm going to turn this around, do it for the other side as well. So this is the gatefold card part of your card. Then if you want to have some front panels on your card, you can cut 2 pieces of cardstock, and you'll cut them to 2 inches by 4 inches, both of them. And I'm just going to take some Tombow and put it on the back of the card like this. And what you're going to want to do is you're going to make sure that the panel goes right against the inside flap here. So you're not centering the panel except on the top, the bottom, and the outer side, and it's going to be flush right here with the center card where it opens. And then you're going to do the same with the other side. Make sure again it is flush with the opening of the card, and also you can kind of do a little quick check and make sure that it aligns with your other panel. Next we're going to need to cut a heart. So I'm going to bring in my Big Shot, and for this one I am going to use the Blooming Heart Thinlits die. It's a really pretty heart, has lots of detail on it. And the way I like to run this through my Big Shot is I've got a piece of Blushing Berry cardstock right here, and I am just going to put my heart down. And I'm not using any wax paper or anything. I'm just the die and the cardstock, and I'm going to run it through once, run it back through. Then I'm actually going to move it slightly, because sometimes the way the cutting plates bow, the die doesn't get good contact everywhere. So if you shift it slightly, you're going to have those cutting surfaces squeezed where they need to be. So usually I find I can get away with doing it, just moving it once, and then I can take this, put my Big Shot aside. I like to leave my die and the cardstock together. If you find that they're coming out, just kind of fit your die back together. And I like to use this Big Shot die brush, and then I just run that over my die, making sure I hit all of those little holes like that. Okay, let's see how this one's doing. Okay, so that's pretty good. So most of these came out. If you notice that they're not coming out easily, then I would run this actually back through with the die in place one more time, back and forth, and that should get that last, anything that wasn't cut properly, and then you can just run it through again. But this time it worked out pretty well. All the remaining pieces just kind of fell out, and then you can put that aside. And then I'm going to flip this to the back for a moment, and I'm going to take a ruler and a pencil, and I need to find kind of a midway point, because this heart is actually going to split. This would not be a good heart to interlock because it's too fancy. So I'm just going to take a little pencil or make a little pencil mark and just hit that all the way down. And then I'm going to take my scissors and I'm going to cut the die in half down the middle. Also, if you're making an interlocking piece, you don't want it to be super large, like you want it to be a little smaller. If you interlock this, it would be kind of hard to pull the piece apart. So you want it to be not overly large. So let me bring in my little panels again, or my little card base here. And now I'm just going to glue this down to my project. So just put a little bit of Tombow here and there to get your heart to stick down. And to align this, I'm kind of looking for equal space from the top and the bottom. And again, I'm just putting it right against the edge of the opening. So you want your heart to be kind of flush with the edge, like that. And then once you've got that in place, just pat it down. Now for the second piece, just make sure you put some glue on the back. Get some, I'm using Tombow glue, my favorite adhesive. And then I am going to try and match this piece up with the heart on the front. So some of these pieces were cut, so just look for where they line up and just try and get that lined up as best you can, and then press it down. Okay, so next we need the interlocking piece. So I am using the Sweetheart Punch, and I'm going to punch 2 out of Watermelon Wonder cardstock. And then I'm going to bring in my pencil and ruler. And this time what I want to do is I'm going to find the midpoint. I'm going to draw a line down the center of my heart. And I'm going to do the same for the other one. This is just going to help me when I'm cutting. Okay, so then what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut one heart up from the top and one from the bottom. I'm going to cut a slot, so I'm going to cut on either side of that pencil line. I'm going to cut just a little bit past halfway, I find is a good way. And so I kind of just cut on either side of the pencil line, so I'm left with kind of this thing that kind of sticks up like that, and then you can just nip that off. And then so this one I cut from the bottom, so the next one I need to cut from the top. And again, I'm just going to cut on either side of that pencil line, and then I'm just going to pull up this little piece and nip it off. Then what I'm going to do, make sure, because I don't want to bother to erase the pencil line, make sure the pencil lines are to the back. And then let's just see if these fit together well. Did you cut the slot far enough? You'll be able to tell. And make sure it lines up, and it does. So I've got this heart so that it will come together nicely. So both of my pencil lines are on the back, so I don't need to erase them. So just keep these together, and I'm going to put the back up, and I'm going to put Tombow on the back of this heart. Now I want to make sure that I have Tombow on both sides of the heart, but I'm avoiding the middle part because I don't want too much glue. I don't want any glue interfering and getting my little hearts stuck. So I'm just kind of keeping them on either side of the heart. And then I'm going to bring my card in again, and I'm making sure that my hearts are lined up right on top of each other. My slot is coming down the center, and it's going to line up right with that opening. And I'm just going to find where I want to stick it down in the middle, and then just stick it down like that. And just hold it down for a few seconds. If you're using a different type of instant adhesive, you won't need to worry about letting it dry. But in my case, since I'm using Tombow, I just want to let it dry for a few seconds. And we'll open it up in a moment. So in the meantime, this die also comes with these two little flowers, and I just cut out a bunch of the little flowers, and here's just one that I have cut and haven't done anything with yet. And so I cut them out of Pink Pirouette, a slightly lighter shade than my Blushing Bride. And I have my Wink of Stella brush. This one's clear. And just to add a little bit of glimmer on the front, I'm just going to brush this little flower with a little bit of my Wink of Stella. And my brush is already primed and ready to go. So you can just brush that on. And it just makes your little flower sparkle a little bit. And then I've already done that for my front. Now I can just fit these guys on the front. So just make sure I've got this lined up right. I'm going to put a little bit of Tombow on the back. And then just to make it even a little prettier, add some pearl jewels as embellishments. I'm going to use my paper piercing tool to pick them up. A large pearl for the largest flower, and then some of these medium pearls for the smaller flowers. And there you go. So that just makes kind of the front of the card really pretty. And now we're going to stamp some panels for the inside of the card. So I've just cut some Whisper White panels, and this one I've cut to 3 3/4 inches by 3 3/4 inches. And the two side panels are 1 5/8 inch by 3 3/4. So you'll need two of those. And then just to stamp them, I am using the Blooming Love stamp set, and I'm going to be using the heart, the love you, and this little kind of heart sprig. So I've got my Blushing Bride ink pad, and then let me just ink up this heart, and I'm going to stamp it kind of in the center of this middle panel right here. And then I'm going to take the Love You from the same stamp set and the Watermelon Wonder ink pad. And I'm just going to ink up the Love You. And I'm going to stamp that below the heart. And then I've got this little sprig right here. And this will just be something for the little side panels. And if you want, you can go and stamp even more stuff. I'm just kind of keeping it nice and simple. This heart should be dry by now. So let's open this up. I'm just going to pull this up like that, and then we can just glue the panels to the inside. Like this, and it kind of just creates a little frame, the card base, like that. And then like this. And then I'll put this one over on this side like that. And then this one on the other side, like that. And there we go. That's the inside of the card, and here's the outside of the card, and here's a slightly simpler version of the same card. I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial, and I hope you will give this fanciful card a try. Bye for now.